their circulation. I have told you already about hydrosphere and what is the percentage of water on the Earth's surface. And this water, the ocean water, has got movement in three types: waves, tides, and ocean currents. So, what are waves? Waves are the alternate rise and fall of the water in the forms of curls on the surface of the ocean. So, the coming and going of the ocean water on the surface of the ocean are called waves. And here is a picture of waves, structure of a wave. So, the highest point of the wave is called crest, and the lowest point of the wave is called trough. So in this way the waves are coming to the shore. So waves can be of, sometimes the waves can be destructive also. How? There are some internal movement inside the sea, like earthquakes, volcanic eruption, and landslides sometimes, and this generates large waves, and which come when touches the shore or come to the coast, becomes of enormous size, means very big, giant size. So they are actually termed as tsunami or tidal waves, but they are not caused by tides. Tides are a different thing. They are actually seismic waves. Seismic waves, these are called because they are generated due to some internal movement inside the sea. Okay. So the word tsunami is originated from the Japanese words. Su means harbor and nami means wave. These waves are generally coming near the shores, seashores. That is why it is called tsunami. They can be very high as 150 meters. Okay, so they are also, they when they approaches the coast, they do a large amount of destruction, and that's why this is called killer waves also. So now we will, here you can see large sea waves in this picture. Now we will move to the second type of movement of the ocean, that is tides. Tides occur on the earth's surface for during the day twice, and they are more or less regular. And what is the cause of the tides? It is caused by the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon on the earth's surface. Okay, under the influence of the moon's gravitational pull or force, the water of the earth come closer to the moon and gets pulled. So the water of the earth come closer to the moon, and I will show you a picture also how. And two types of tides are formed: spring tide and high tide and low tide. High tide happens when the moon is full, and low tide occurs when moon is in its last quarter. So the tides that occur after the new moon and full moon are known as spring tides, means high tides, and the another characteristics of spring tide is that it occurs at a time when the sun, moon, and earth are in the same line. Look at this. Spring tide is happening. The sun, moon, and earth are in same line. Sun, moon, earth, sun, earth, moon. They are in the same line. So at this situation, the spring tides occur. Okay. Such tides are higher than the high tides and lower than the low tides. Okay. Now there is a picture of neap tides. You can see that sun, earth, and moon, they are in a diagonally. They are placed diagonally. In this situation, neap tides occur. That means the water in neap tides don't come to closer to the to the shore. Okay. So in spring tides, in spring tide, the positioning of sun, moon, and earth is like this. You can see it properly. And in neap tide, The positioning of sun, earth and moon is like this. So spring tides are occurring when the sun, moon and earth is in same line, and nip tide is occurring when sun, earth and moon is in a diagonal position. Okay, so now we will know what is the importance of tides and waves. So the rise and fall of level of water is beneficial towards how? First of all, the big shapes, huge ships are able to come to the harbors, and tides clean the sediments beneath the sea, which are deposited by the river, and lots of fishes are found when the high tide or low tide comes. So they come across the shore easily, and the exchange of water during high and low tides between the sea and shore make the water rich in nutrients. Thus it is very good for ecosystem, and large variety of fish is also found. Okay. The force of waves, we are talking about tides, importance of tide. The force of waves and tides can be harnessed to generate electricity. So the water has got force, and this force can be used to generate electricity, and this is known as tidal electricity. The force generated by the tides can be used as to generate electricity. So this is a renewable source of water, a renewable source for energy. Okay, and so in this way we can save our very non-renewable fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, etc. Now we will discuss about the third movement of the ocean, are ocean currents. The ocean currents, as you know that I will show you the map of the world. You can see that North Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, Southern Ocean, Arctic Ocean. These are the more important oceans of the world, but all the oceans of the world are interlinked with each other. That means they are one water, but they are only demarcated by these land masses. So all the water is interlinked. That means the water from one part, northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, can merge at one point. So they are a continuous body, not a different body. The water bodies are continuous. Okay, so the geographers have given them name like Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Indian Ocean, Arctic Ocean to study it properly. And they have a number of seas, gulfs and bays along their margins. The ocean around Antarctica is termed by some geographers as Southern Ocean. How now we will study what are ocean currents. When wind disturbs this vast stretch of water, due to wind, you know that wind has force. When the wind disturbs large amount of water and they drive the mass of water over large areas, these ocean currents are formed. So the ocean currents are actually moving in a definite direction, and the water is moving in a definite direction through by the action of the wind. Okay, so in this way the ocean currents are formed. The ocean currents are formed horizontally and vertically, whereas waves are only happening horizontally. Okay, so in forming of ocean currents, temperature is very, very important. Okay, so as you can see, the ocean currents are divided into two types. They are warm ocean currents and they are cool ocean currents, cold ocean current. The warm ocean currents are developing in the equatorial region. Equatorial region means the region 0° equator where the sun rays are receiving. This is the region which is receiving a maximum of sun rays, direct heat of the sun. So these are the most warm places on the earth. Now they move toward the cooler polar water. So the cold ocean currents originate in the polar region and flow toward the warm equatorial water. So you can see that this is 0° equator. So the ocean currents which are developing here are moving towards the polar region, and the ocean currents which are developing near the polar region are moving towards the The ocean currents which are developing in the equatorial region are moving towards the polar region, and the currents which are developing near the polar region are coming towards the equatorial region. In this way, they are creating a balance so that the water is has a favorable temperature. Okay. Understood? So there is one factor. The rotation of the earth deflects the direction. So rotation of the earth means the daily movement of the earth. Due to this, day and night happens, you know. So the rotation of the earth changes the direction of the winds and ocean currents. So in the northern hemisphere, the ocean currents are moving to the left, and in the southern hemisphere it is moving it is moving in the northern hemisphere to the right, and in the southern hemisphere to the left. So this is known as Coriolis effect. So the general ocean circulation is thus clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. In the northern hemisphere it is moving in the right direction, and in the southern hemisphere it is moving into the left direction. Okay, so and clockwise in the northern hemisphere and anti-clockwise in the southern hemisphere. The ocean floor is not a flat surface. It has submarine ridges and trenches. It has volcanic peaks that protrude on the surface as well. So ocean bed has also different kind of land surfaces. Some is flat, some is high, but it is full of water, so we cannot see from the outside. Okay, now what is the significance of the ocean and ocean current? The ocean currents, first of all, the ocean currents, oceans act as natural waterways and are the actually the oceans are the important for transportation from one country to another, from one country continent to another, and it is very important to transport bulky goods from, as you know, ships can carry bulky goods. Okay. We are discussing importance of ocean and ocean currents. Before that, I would like to show you this map of world's oceans and major ocean currents. So the red one, you can see closely, the red one is the warm ocean currents, and the blue one is the cold ocean currents. As you can see, cold ocean currents are originating from the polar region and moving towards the equatorial region, and the red one, the red arrows are actually originating from the equatorial region and moving towards the polar region. So in this way, the ocean currents are moving. So you can see the world map. So in this way, what happened? The temperature is balanced. So the polar water is not frigid, and the equatorial water is not very, very hot. Understood? So now we are back to the importance of ocean currents. The oceans and seas have a moderating influence upon climate, but the climate of a place may be directly affected by the currents flowing past it. Warm ocean currents raise the temperature of the coastal areas, while cold ocean currents lower the temperature. Warm ocean currents drive moisture from the sea to the land, bringing rainfall. As you all know, that warm ocean currents originating from the southwestern part of India and bringing rain in most of the part of India. Okay. Warm ocean currents like the North Atlantic drift helped in the melting of icebergs. They keep ports of the Arctic region in northwest Europe ice-free even in winter. So warm ocean currents are moving towards the polar region and they are melting the icebergs. So in this way, the ports, the harbors are ice-free. If it is ice there, it will not be able for the ships to reach there. So they are helping in navigation through water. So these warm ocean currents are keeping a balance in the temperature. Okay. The oceans are rich fishing grounds. You know that water means fish. So oceans have the fishing is very favorable for fishing. When the warm and cold ocean currents meet, marine life becomes rich due to the mixing of warm and cold water. These areas are best fishing grounds. For example, seas around Japan, where the warm Kuroshio and the cold Oyoshio current meet. Another example is the eastern coast of North America. Okay. Sometimes what happens, the meeting of warm and cold ocean currents results in thick fog. When the fog is thick, it becomes very dangerous for ships. So for example, the meeting of the warm Gulf Stream and cold Labrador current of Newfoundland on the eastern coast of Canada produces extremely foggy weather. So in fog, visibility is very less. So it is dangerous for the ships, and the ships sometimes many times lost and or they are sinked. They cannot see the any obstacles. So they are also called graveyard of thousand ships. Ocean and seas are vast storehouse of salt and minerals. As you know that ocean water is salty, and so minerals can be obtained from this ocean water. Huge petroleum. Sometimes petroleum deposits are found in some offshore. For example, Bombay High in the Arabian Sea is petroleum is extracted from these from under the sea. Okay. The oceans hold an important place in the hydrological cycle. They are the main source of moisture in the atmosphere. Tidal waves can be used to generate electricity. As you have told earlier in this chapter, that hydrological cycle means the cycle of water, the three forms of water. You all know that it's the main source of moisture. Why? Because the water evaporates, ocean water evaporates and condenses and then come back again as precipitation. Okay, on 22nd March we celebrate World Water Resource Day. Why? Because you know that fresh water is very very less, and we are overusing the water. Humans are using every resources and exhausting these resources. So we are discharging waste, chemical waste, industrial waste in the oceans, and in this way the ocean water is getting polluted. For example, in India we have rivers like Ganga. They are known as so holy river, but the river Ganga is also being polluted, and so much is being done to actually save Ganga from pollution. So we have the duty. We have to do something for this. What we can do, we should not throw any kind of waste product in the river or oceans. Okay, so experts have predicted that Ganga may change into a seasonal river. Why? Because of the global warming. The source of Ganga, Glomuk Glacier, is receding. It is also melting faster due to the global warming. You know that global warming, when the glacier will, what happened? The glacier will melt. They will increase the volume of seas. Okay, the sea water will increase, and they will take the freshwater resources. Also, they will destroy the freshwater resources. So this is an alarming condition. So we should take care of our earth and all the natural things which is present on the earth. And among them the water is very very important. So that's it in this chapter. I hope you have all understood this chapter very well. If you have any problem, you can ask me. Okay, see you in the next video with a new chapter.